Alright, we're back for another High Tide Imbibe. And we're looking at something seasonal from Boxing Rock here. This is their Equinox Oktoberfest Lager, so it's a Marzen in style, or Marzen, if you want to go that far. 5% alcohol by volume. Fall seasonal, of course, September 19th. There we go. I guess September 9th. That's weird. 92. I don't know. They have this weird. They have this. They have this printed weird for their bottling date. It says Equinox is a classic Bavarian lager traditionally made just in time for Oktoberfest and the autumnal equinox. Our take on the tradition is made with authentic German malts and hops, which means deliciously light toasted bread, blah, blah, blah. I don't need to know that. This beer is perfect for sitting back on an early fall evening, watching the leaves change color, celebrating the equinox and the last light of summer, the first light of fall, and having a barbecue feast of German sausages with spicy beer mustard. Prost. I'm probably not going to do that. Probably just going to drink this beer. Comes in 355 milliliter bottles. Boxing Rock is big on sort of keeping their stuff in bottles for some reason. I don't know. Bucking against the trend these days. Maybe they're just too cheap for a canning line. I don't know. Just speculation. But, because eventually it's going to bite them in the ass more than it's going to help them. I'm just saying. So yeah, carbonation is about the same as it was after I poured it. That's about as much head as you got to start with. So not big and frothy or anything like that. Looks the part. Dark copper coin color. Supposed to be a slightly toasted malt. Supposed to be a little bit darker than your average lager. So it definitely looks the part of a more traditional Marzen, that's for sure. A lot of the ones these days I've noted in the past are more like just tourist beers. They're just general lagers. And, they're watered down and made to swill back for tourists who want to go to Germany for Oktoberfest. But in this case, you got something a little bit more traditional here. By the looks of things anyway, we'll go to the aroma. Yeah. Very clean kind of lager smell there. But you do get the roastiness, the sort of, toasted grain kind of quality there. Slightly bordering on sort of like a caramel smell. Nothing too intense. This style is not supposed to be intense. It's not supposed to necessarily be mind-blowing or anything like that. So it smells the part. So we'll go right to the taste. Cheers. Or Prost. Yeah, that's straight up a Marzen. Not much you can say about it style-wise. It's very simple. It's got the toasty malt character to it. It's light as fuck. Easy to drink. And that's it. It finishes on a very nice sort of dry, mineral-y kind of hop character. Maybe a slight bit of Euro spice component in there. But very, very simple, very, very pleasant. Definitely a food beer. I can imagine having this with sausages and thinking, yeah, that perfectly works. So, I mean, congrats to Boxing Rock. They have as far as I can tell, out of all these sort of Oktoberfest lagers that I've had over the years, they've got a perfect representation of the style here, because it's not supposed to be wild, it's not supposed to be super different, it's supposed to be very simple and strict to certain sort of characteristics. And they knocked it out of the park. 10 for style. As far as something that my overall preference would go for, Yeah, this is fine. I like my beers simpler. I think most people know that. Although this is, even a tad more simple than some of the stuff I really like. So, yeah, I'd have a few of these. But I'd probably sit this at a... I'm saying this like it's a bad thing, like I'm shitting on it or something like that, but no, 10 for style and my overall preference, I'm going to throw an 8 at it. It's really good stuff. If you're looking for a perfect representation of the style of a Marzen, Oktoberfest Lager, you got it here. It's really good. Pick it up while it lasts in the NSLC. You buy it in single bottles. So there you go. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye. Okay, another High Tide Imbibe, and we have yet another pumpkin beer. This time out, we have the Harvest Pumpkin Ale from 9 Locks. I had to do a little research here to make sure there's actually pumpkin in this. Get to that in a second. 5.2% alcohol by volume, 12 IBUs, it says. Now, it doesn't list pumpkins in the actual ingredients here. Water, hops, malt, yeast, natural flavors, and spices, and love. So that got me a little worried. Natural flavors, does that mean they're actually using real pumpkin, or are they using something that's, like pumpkin flavored? But doing some research, they apparently, I think I went to the Atlantic Canada Beer blog, or whatever the fuck it is, and they say they do use some pumpkin in this. I don't know how much, but they use a combination of pumpkin and pumpkin spices. So take them at their word. Apparently they do. I mean, when it says Harvest Pumpkin Ale, you kind of expect, goddamn pal, there better be some pumpkin in there. So, because, I mean, you don't, well, I guess you can harvest plants to make spices, but you don't really harvest spices. You harvest pumpkin, pal. You bring it right out of the goddamn pumpkin patch. That's what you do. Alright. Let's take a look at this sucker. So I don't think I've ever had this before from them. They've been releasing it for a few years now. So yeah, it's a slightly murky orange color. Assume it's unfiltered, or at least not highly filtered. Oh, got some on the table there. Going to aroma. Looks fine. Actually, the color kind of just matches the labeling. The colors on the label. Looks like a pumpkin. So yeah, I'm getting the typical stuff. Cinnamon, probably nutmeg, or clove, one or the other. Allspice, ginger, maybe. Mostly I'm just getting kind of a sweet smell there overall from the spices, and getting a malt backbone in this one. Sort of caramel malt underneath. This one really does smell like pumpkin pie. Like a lot of the ones, they'll load them up with the pumpkin pie spices and they don't really smell like a pumpkin pie to me necessarily. This one straight up smells like it's a pumpkin pie. The cinnamon's probably the biggest note in there, and it's it's cut or curtailed by the sort of nutmeg influence. Yeah, smells good. Honestly, out of all the pumpkin beers I've had so far this month, out of the Maritime provinces here, this is the one that smelled the best so far. So let's see if the taste is holds true to the aroma. That's good. Good balance of the spice and the sort of more biscuity and earthy tones of the pumpkin, the biscuity tones of the malt. Gives you that pumpkin pie crust sort of feeling. The spices are not super big or overbearing. They're a bit in the background. Something I'd compare this to would be like, if you go back to my old reviews, I did a fairly aged bottle of Southern Tier Pumpkin, and that was like straight up like some sort of like frosted cookie, in the way it tasted. Like the spices and stuff had gone down enough where the malt was really big in it, and it just had this like really nice frosted cookie kind of thing going on. This has a lot of that. There's aspects of that in this. That's really good. Just spicy enough. Has enough sweetness. Finishes dry enough, but not too dry. It's not like, say, the Propeller one where it's that 1-2 punch thing. Like, there's a bit more complexity here, a bit more smoothness. The body is basically upper light body, and it's got slightly kind of a creamy texture to it almost. Or at least the flavors give this, like, kind of illusion of creaminess. Man, that's really, really good. As far as pumpkin beers go, this one's getting straight up a 9 for style. And I think my enjoyment, my overall enjoyment preference, I'm going to throw a 9 there as well. This is something I could definitely drink a bunch of and not get sick of it. It's not too spicy, like I said. Like, it's very, very, very easy to go down. Very, very drinkable. Yeah, I like this a lot, man. I definitely have more than one of these. So well done, Nine Locks. So far, you are the reigning champion of pumpkin beers from the Maritime provinces. Go find this one, guys. It's in the NSLC now, and it's really goddamn good stuff. Cheers. We'll see you again for another High Tide Imbibe. All right, we're back for another High Tide Imbibe. We have another in the Moosehead seasonal series. This is number 8. Just did the peppermint IPA. Hoping this will be better. This is the small batch Irish Red Ale. 4.8% alcohol by volume. 20 IBUs. Celtic myth has tales of kings being served red ale ladled from silver vats. Our Irish Red Ale is served from a can, but we believe our malt forward brew, blah 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 blah, with notes and stuff. It's just as fit for royalty. Yeah. Okay. I like this can too. It's got Celtic knot work in the background. I don't know if you can see that too clearly. It's red on red, so there you go. But it is a nice looking can. Let's take a look at the beer. Excuse me. And it's a nice looking beer. Nice amber ale, amber color. Good head. Even with, even with this glass that's designed to give you a good head, you can still kind of tell it's got that same kind of root beer float, milkshakey kind of head that you get from the peppermint IPA. So looks good there. Great to aroma. You can look at that window, that storm window right there. Yeah. Very simple. Toffee caramel, and that's basically what you get from this style. This is another very simple style. You don't expect any big flourishes of complex notes just sort of, tickling your nostrils. It's just very standard malt forward toffee caramel. More on the toffee-ish side, I'd say, with this one. Smells very good. Sometimes in these you'll get like chocolatey notes and stuff like that, but for the most part, doesn't get super complex at all. Very one-two kind of note thing is with this style, and so they nail it on the actual aroma at the very least. We'll go to the taste now. Cheers. That's very good. Again, toffee caramel. Maybe I would like a little bit more body on it, but other than that, it's a very toffee caramel forward, malt forward beer. I'd say upper light body. Finishes with a good dryness. It's not overly dry or bitter or anything like that, which suits the style. And again, like in the aroma, more toffee than caramel when you're actually taking into account which note is bigger. That's good. Very, very good. Just easy pub fare. Perfect for fish and chips or something like that, if you so desire, or just to slug back a bunch of them because it's really good. Yeah. Right up with her brown ale in this series. Moosehead's really done a good job of nailing these simple styles very, very well. When they go overboard with like the peppermint IPA and the other stuff, like it's hit or miss, but they're nailing these simple styles, which just makes me wish they'd do them as like a regular mainstream release of this quality if they could, and I'd be buying a lot more of their beer. But as this stands, style-wise, good solid 8.5, I'd say. And my overall enjoyment, I'd have to throw a 9 at this. This is something I could drink all the time. I really like it. It's one of the best red ales I've had from the Maritimes, and that's saying something because we got a lot of good red ales around these parts. But cheers. This is worth picking up. So thanks for watching another High Tide Imbibe, and we'll be back again when the tide is high. I don't know. Maybe just when you're high. We'll see. Bye, guys. Welcome back to another High Tide Imbibe. And now we have something from Wayfarers Ale Society. And these guys are in Port Williams, I believe. Yeah. They're just across the parking lot from sea level. So they're like right next door to sea level. And this is their Muddy Big Stout. Maritime Oatmeal Stout. 5.7% alcohol by volume. It says on the can, a delicious, rich oatmeal stout made with locally grown and malted oats. The use of malted oats rather than traditional flaked oats allows for a much greater proportion of the grist to be oats, resulting in an exceptionally creamy and smooth brew, a meal in a glass. And they say here, the name Wayfarers Ale is attributed to an old custom in England where travelers or wayfarers could stop at local churches and be given a horn of ale and a piece of bread to help them along their journey. That seems a little bit romanticized. Long may it live on, for we are all wayfarers. Proudly Nova Scotian. Ingredients: water, malted barley, malted oats, barley, hops, and yeast. Interesting. So they got malted barley and barley separately. So some unmalted barley in this as well? Interesting. Okay. Yeah, there you go. So let's take a look at it here. Hope this looks good on the camera. Sun's going to be down in an hour or so, hour and a half. So we're probably getting some J.J. Abrams lens flares in this motherfucker. That's production values for you, motherfucker. So yeah, she looks pretty solidly black through. Little highlights on the sides and bottom. I can kind of see brown. It's got a tan head. Go right to the aroma. Ooh. Very big chocolatey roast on that. kind of on the sort of what's the word I'm trying to think of? God damn, my brain is scrambled. But that sort of coffee chocolate, it's not latte, it's something else. Yeah, very, very, very on the chocolate side of things with that roast going in there. So you got that like coffee-ish roast, but big time chocolate note on it as well. I'll probably think of it halfway through this review and then get back to you on that. But till then, go for the taste. Cheers. That is good. It was very good. It's definitely got a upper medium kind of body to it, but it's also very creamy and smooth. Presence of the oats, make sure of that. I know what I was thinking of. Mocha. Very mocha quality to this, although the aroma where it's more chocolatey, when you get into the taste, it's more the roast in the end. You get a little bit of that chocolate up front, then it gets to more like a baker's chocolate, and then just like a roast combo in the finish. And very creamy texture to it. Like I said again, kind of upper medium body to it. Yeah, it's got that meal in the glass kind of quality to it. Definitely weren't lying there. Yeah, this is good. I've had something else from Wayfarers back before I started doing High Tide Imbibe, when I was between this and the Hoagley beer reviews, and I didn't like it. Maybe it was just, baby steps for them. They were just starting back then when I first tried one of their things, and it was like, eh. But what was it? It was like an Irish red or a Scotch ale or some shit. I'll get back to it and do a re-review, see if they've improved any. Because if this is any indication, then they're making some good beer. Yeah, it's very very simple. Like, this style is a simple style too. Although this is a style that's popular for building upon. Like, you'll have your Oatmeal Stout that, is... you'll have your Imperial Oatmeal Stouts, and you'll have, like, extra added things like cocoa nibs and vanilla sticks and all kinds of shit. Just to try, because it's a good base to experiment with, because you already got some solid flavors going on. Generally, these are pretty good for... If you want to make an imperial version, you'll see a lot of people put this kind of style in, like, bourbon barrels and stuff like that as well. But, just as its base style, it's very simple. You get a couple really well-pronounced notes, and they all sort of ring here. I'm going to throw an 8 at this for style, and my overall enjoyment, I'm going to go an 8 as well. It's very, very good stuff. I am probably going to buy it again. Especially since I think St. Ambroise Oatmeal Stout is no longer available in my NSLC. So this would be a good replacement. This and the Serial Killer from Big Spruce in Great Britain. I can't remember if I uploaded that video or not by the time you see this, but I also like that one quite a bit as well. But yeah, this is really good. So, the Muddy Big Stout from the Maritime Oatmeal Stout from Wayfarers Ale Society. That gets 8s across the board for style and for personal preference and enjoyment. So, there you go. Thanks for watching, guys. another high tide imbibe, and we'll see you guys later. Goodbye.